How to cope with middle age.
How to cope with middle age.
The firm has outgrown its uninhabited corporate culture.
The firm has outgrown its uninhabited corporate culture.
It is time to learn from its elders.
It is time to learn from its elders.
It may be just 21 years old, but Google is in the midst of a midlife crisis.
It may be just 21 years old, but Google is in the midst of a midlife crisis.
As so often in such cases, all seems well on the surface.
As so often in such cases, all seems well on the surface.
Every day, its search engine handles 6 billion requests.
Every day, its search engine handles 6 billion requests.
YouTube receives 49 years worth of video uploads.
YouTube receives 49 years worth of video uploads.
And Gmail processes about 100 billion emails.
And Gmail processes about 100 billion emails. Its search engine handles 6 billion requests every day. YouTube receives 49 years worth of video uploads, and Gmail processes about 100 billion emails.
Thanks to its dominance of online advertising, about 100 billion emails. Thanks to its dominance of online advertising, Google's parent company Alphabet made a profit of $34 billion last year.
Google's parent company Alphabet made a profit of $34 billion last year. Thanks to its dominance of online advertising, Google's parent company Alphabet made a profit of $34 billion last year.
Beyond its core operations, it is a world leader in artificial intelligence, or AI, quantum computing, and self-driving cars.
Beyond its core operations, it is a world leader in artificial intelligence, or AI, quantum computing, and self-driving cars.
Along with the bosses of Amazon, Apple, and Facebook,
Apple,
its chief executive, Sundar Pichai, was grilled this week by lawmakers in Washington, D.C.
Its chief executive Sundar Pichai was grilled this week by lawmakers in Washington, D.C.
who fret that America's tech giants need to be restrained because they are so profitable.
Who fret that America's tech giants need to be restrained because they are so profitable.
Crisis? What crisis?
Crisis? What crisis?
Washington, D.C., who fret that America was grilled this week by lawmakers in Washington, D.C., who fret that America's tech giants grilled this week by Apple and Facebook. Its chief executive, Sundar Pichai,
along with the bosses of Amazon, Apple, and Facebook, its chief executive Sundar Pichai was grilled this week by lawmakers in Washington, D.C., who fret that America's tech giants need to be restrained because they are so profitable. Crisis? What crisis?
Being hauled before Congress is, on the face of it,
Being
a somewhat crisis. Being hauled before Congress is, on the face of it,
being hauled
what crisis? Being hauled before Congress is,
being hauled before Congress
on the face of it,
is on the face of it
a sign of success.
a sign of success.
But it also marks a difficult moment for Google's leaders.
But it also marks a difficult moment for Google leaders.
The onset of corporate middle age.
The onset of corporate middle age.
This is a problem as old as business itself.
This is a problem as old as business itself.
How do companies sustain creativity and agility
How do companies sustain creativity and agility
that makes itself? How do companies sustain creativity and agility that made them great?
that made them great?
Even as they forge a culture and corporate machine
Even as they forge a culture and corporate machine
that is built to last.
that is built to last.
For Google, the transition is especially dramatic
For Google, the transition is especially dramatic
because its founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin,
because its founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin,
tried from the start to build a firm
in which this moment would never arrive.
As Google prepared to go public in 2004,
As Google prepared to go public in 2004,
they declared that it was not a conventional company,
they declared that it was not a conventional company,
and we do not intend to become one.
and we do not intend to become one.
They hoped playground-like offices, generous perks, and a campus atmosphere. They hoped playground-like offices,
They hoped that playground-like offices,
generous perks,
and campus atmosphere
would allow it to retain the agility and innovation of a
would allow it to retain the agility and innovation
startup as it grew. Campus atmosphere would allow it to retain the agility and innovation of a startup as it grew. Atmosphere would allow it to retain the agility and innovation of a startup as it grew. Its atmosphere would allow it to retain the agility and innovation of a startup as it grew.
of a startup as it grew.
The appearance of wrinkles on the corporate forehead
The appearance of wrinkles on the corporate forehead
is an admission of failure.
is an admission of failure.
The signs of aging are apparent in Google's maturing business.
The signs of aging are apparent in Google's maturing business.
The signs of aging are apparent in Google's maturing business. Its changing culture and its ever more entwined relationship with government.
Its changing culture and its ever more entwined relationship with government.
Its changing culture and its ever more entwined relationship with government. Take the business first.
Take the business first.
The firm is running up against growth constraints.
The firm is running up against.
Take the business first. The firm is running up against growth constraints.
The firm is running up against growth constraints.
In its near monopolies of this first. The firm is running up against growth constraints in its near monopolies of search and online advertising tools.
In its near
Against growth constraints in its near monopolies of
search and online advertising tools.
Its market share in search ads
Its market share and search ads
is around search and online advertising tools. Its market share in search ads is around
Its market share in search ads
90%.
is around 90%.
Unearthing other gold mines has proved ads is around 90%. Unearthing other gold mines has proved difficult.
Unearthing other gold mines has proved difficult.
None of the ambitious moonshot projects
None of the ambitious moonshot projects
into which Alphabet has poured billions, such as delivery drones and robots, has been a breakout success. To keep growing, Google is having to try to muscle in on the turf occupied by
Google is having to try to
To keep growing, Google is having to try to muscle in on the turf
occupied by big tech rivals,
such as cloud computing and enterprise software and services. The cultural challenge is fuzzier, but no less urgent for a firm that is proud of its unusual corporate character.